All right, hello everyone. My name is Disc. I'm a title healer from Season 1 of The War Within, and I'm here to help you become your group's hero. And today's video is just a quick and easy Algeth'ar's 15. Mainly what I wanted to do here is go through talents, because I didn't do that in my last video, and talk about some changes that Oracle had, some nerfs from Oracle, and then some buffs for Voidweaver. And a big thing I wanted to highlight that changed from my video yesterday is I found out with Platinator, you actually can set your nameplates to change color when in execute range. I thought that was something that the game got rid of, but just through clicking through the add-on, I found that it's still in the game. So similar to how I played in The War Within, all of my nameplates will be red. When they shift into execute range, they turn white. And the reason this is so important is because if you're going to try and play Voidweaver, you really must fight to get every execute you can to level the playing field. You know, everyone right now is saying Oracle is better than Voidweaver. I don't know who's to say. You know, every day we see changes to the numbers. But nevertheless, if you're going to play Voidweaver and play it well, to get the most strength out of it is when you fight to get every execute in the field, and Platinator can change your nameplates white. Here are the talents. This is what I wanted to go over that I did not go over in my Skyreach video. But on the priest side, I'm not really going to talk about too much here. It's kind of boring. If you have any questions, ask. But I would say this is a very DPS forward build, a very aggressive build, favoring atonement healing rather than absorbs. And then over here on the side, the big buff we had to Shadow Fiend was when we catch and execute, it's a 100% chance to summon a pet. And that does a lot to level the playing field if you ask me. The only problem is it's still not a 100% chance. They said something like it's subject to change in hotfixes, but this is still not a 100% chance. And then I'm kind of surprised it's not a capstone for one of these talent trees, but it's called Death's Torment. We get 2 additional at 15% effectiveness. The 15% part is negligible. What this really does is gives us 2 more chances to summon this pet. And whereas, you know, I think 1 we're supposed to be getting 100% of the time for free, I do think these additional 2 are going to be a roll of the dice. So, but it's a really great way to get hella pets out. I think there's some examples in here where we have 4 pets out at once tormenting. All it really demands is, you know, we're expecting a pet to come from the Rift collapse. We kind of have to prioritize our spell and bank our spells for when we're anticipating these pets to be out. So a great opener is leading with your Shadow Word Death into your Mind Blast Penance, but also being that we're anticipating this free pet at the end of the Rift, you don't want to have your death on cooldown because you played it during your Rift. So there's kind of a point of no return where you have to hold your death anticipating the free pet. And I'm still getting used to it. I've played quite a few keys in the last month or so, and it's something I've got a lot better at, but there's kind of like, yeah, I think there's a little bit more of a rotation when it comes to penance and death. A lot of times you want to play your death first. A lot of times you want to play your penance first, and it's just very situational. But yeah, we're still playing Will and Woe. The Harsh Discipline has moved up here. I'm taking 1 point in Pain and Suffering. It was 2 points. Really missed that extra point, to be honest. Our dots are very valuable right now, giving a lot of effort to making sure our penance hits mobs with dots. But yeah, with this change, bar time, I don't think this was a good change, developers. Sorry. I think Harsh Discipline should stay down here. Bar time should stay optional. But who's to say? Midnight is not out yet, and we are likely to have quite a few changes. But with all that being said, if you have questions about anything I'm doing here, please ask. I'm playing Voidweaver, sue me. But this is a really good build. This is only level 15 key. The point of this key was I was really trying to push DPS to see what the limits of Voidweaver looked like. And let me quickly splash damage on screen. All right, so here's a spread from our dungeon overall. We're at 38.9 thousand per second. Pretty good number in my opinion. Not too sure what other healers are at, but I'm pretty sure this blows them out of the water. And if we look at the layout here, we have Mind Blast on top. That is the Entropic Rift. That was a change last week. They've changed the name. And then when it comes to the torments, if you had all of the torments up plus the melees, it also equals 28%. So it's vying for first and second like it always has been. And then our dot is in third place, showing how important it is to practice dot uptime with our penance. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and clip over to the key. All right, here we go. Very important to make sure you have at least one poison dispel in the group comp, if you ask me. And on the top here, we're going for the haste buff. Obviously, I'm already thinking about where's my PI going. It is on the DK. And we want to open with an evangelism. This is mainly a DPS button at this point. And play our rift on cooldown. This is the biggest pull of the dungeon, biggest pull of the season, to be honest. And I do 100,000 damage per second. Trying to keep my dot up as well, making sure I don't pinch someone without a dot. And I think on my open here, just waiting on the gather, I try and get 3 or 4 dots out. And then from there, I just let my penance do the rest. Okay, I set a focus early on one of the big guys. Fade. PI is out, Rift is out, Evangelism is out. Penance on cooldown, penancing a mob with a dot. Free Torment there. Not sure how else to describe it except go and execute. When you have enough haste, you can get 2 torments off of your Mind Blast from 1 pet. That's what happened there. Execute before the Mind Blast. And in early forced collapse. I have a macro for slash, cancel aura, entropic rift. Very important to have that on its own button to cancel it on command rather than lose value. Okay, so we have this boss on a 15, not too sensitive overall. I'm just full sending my spells here. And when the ancient branch pops up, gotta attack it. Getting as many Void Blasts as I can, dropping all other spells, just hitting Void Blast. Okay, we do have Evangelism. Switch my target to the branch. Grabbed an execute for a free pet. And stand in the green. Okay, I think I wait here. We're about to have AoE damage. I backload the Evangelism. Pretty sure that's the play. Flash shield for the damage reduction. Barrier fade. Evangelism. Here comes PI. Right in time for when we need it. Looks like I went for an execute but missed on one of those little guys. Something else I wanted to mention is I've always had this in my keybinds, but now that we have this void shield, I think it's even more important. I would say more times than not, I'm just trying to drop the shield. I'm not really too worried about where it's going. And I don't think it's a bad idea to drop it on yourself. So what I'm getting at is having a keybind for an @player power word shield. I think it's a pretty good idea. I've been doing that for a long time, just mainly for the body and soul, like a small speed boost. But it comes in real handy with this void shield, when really all you need to worry about is just dropping it. Ooh, that guy jumped the gun. Let's see if I grab and execute though. So with these little guys, always a good idea. Yep, got an execute and had a 2 pet proc. Redotted. So a spot like this, it's really nice to open with your Shadow or Death, because then your Mind Blast and Penance get torments. That's what we did there. If you didn't see it, or if you don't know what I'm seeing, just replay it real quick. Double torment there. Okay, so I'm trying to get in a better habit of this. I've gotten a little bit rusty with WoW, but in downtime, always scan your buffs and plan your next play. So this next guy, the mini-boss, is not hard, but it does take time. So Evangelism is a great spell here, pretty quick of a cooldown, and we need some DPS. PI just came up, so let's play it all. I like working in one Void Blast before the death there, just to make sure I'm going for that 3 count. Ooh, missing my torments. Oh, I missed all the torments there. Right. Death. Penance. I think maybe Penance Death would be easier if a mob is not execute. Get the Penance on cooldown first. Negligible. Okay, as many Void Blasts as I can. I'm really not too worried about healing here. I'm just trying to damage. Okay, got an execute and got a free pet. And a double torment. Okay, sent my rift there and almost immediately collapsed it just for the damage grab. And over here, I open with a handful of dots. My rift is not available yet, but I radiance into the rift. I'm trying to get better at that. It's definitely something I have no excuse to be bad at this point, but when you cast your Mind Blast, you get a free shadow charge on your penance. I forget what they call it. But you don't want that 50% upgrade on your penance to not have the extra bolts from the radiance. So yeah, radiance on the open, you get a very strong first penance. Okay, selected the big guy here. Evangelism's out. PI's out. I definitely overkill for this, but I'm just trying to go full send here. At 50,000 damage per second at the moment. Okay, try and dot the 2 bigger guys. Radiance into my rift. And if there are no executes, maybe you've noticed this by now. If there are no executes, I kind of shelf Shadow or Death. It doesn't have much value in your rift window if there are no executes. These birds are messing us up. And that is a change of mechanic. Okay, yeah, I sent my rift with an early collapse just for the damage. There's no reason not to do that when there's a little bit of FAP here. But those birds, I'm going to have to rewatch this back myself to figure out what exactly that mechanic is. I think it's just a cast that they have. But I need to make sure I know for hierarchies, you know? Okay, so Evangelism is ready, and I think I hold for a second here. This is definitely a key where the healer has a cadence. We're looking for the deafening screech on our timers. That's where we want to place our spells. But I'm going to go ahead and send the Evangelism here. Just don't want to hold too long on it. Used to fade on myself to lessen some of the damage. We just got PI. Let's see how well I play it. There it is. So we do have 1 death here. I'm sure I can take partial blame for playing too aggressively. It happens at the end of the fight, so let's see if we can catch that too. I play double defensive there, Desperate Prayer and Fade. And this is an Entropic Rift that I tried to time a little bit better to cover the heal a little more 1-for-1. Oh, I need to move that action button. Okay, full sending my rift. Paint up to myself. Looks like that druid played bark skin after the attack was finished. He is the one that died, so maybe it's a skill thing. He's not doing too much damage either. Okay, I faded for personal protection. Evangelism into my rift. Also, one thing to be careful with your void shield, the spread of the 3 is not full range of 40 yards. Not sure the exact range. If anyone knows, let me know. Oh, this is our damage phase. Yeah, so if you look at his nameplate, we have 8 seconds here. Definitely want to FAP as much DPS as possible and cancel that rift if you have to. But what I was saying about the void shield, it does not spread by 40 yards. So you sometimes have to be careful who you cast it on. Or you'll only get like 1 of 3, for example. Ooh. I'm so happy I didn't die there. I did not see that attack. We had a barrier down. Thankfully, I had defensives to help out. Oh. Okay. Well, we did it. Moving on. So evangelism is up. PI is not up. We have 1 paints up. And of course, we're going to send the rift. So something I thought about, I should have thought about this way sooner, meaning years ago. It's not a good idea to send your rift on the big guy, because the rift will follow him out of the group when he leaps away. So it's probably better to send the rift on a smaller guy. Yeah, so for example, right here, that one's not too bad. The tank brought him back in. But you want the rift to follow the group. Similarly, you want your torments to go where mobs are. So like, for example, I'm not sure if I did it there yet or not, but I think on the next poll somewhere I did it. But I switched my targets to the little guys to make sure that my penance and my torments went on a group of at least 5 rather than the solo mob, which was out by himself. Okay, we do have PI. When did I get PI? I'm not sure. Okay, I do send PI. Oh, he died. Second rift, free torments. Grab to execute, 2 free pets. Switch my targets to find a mob with a dot for the penance. Again, switch my targets for my penance. So I've said it in the past, but if your target ever is missing a dot and you have a penance to give, if it's crucial you get that penance out, you're better off just switching targets and hoping the next target has a dot, like just tab target. Okay, playing with dots here. We have another death. Okay, I'm picked. This is a big play with evangelism. Don't want to die. I use Desperate Prayer. And my wheel and woe just hit 10. Drop my Void Shield. Here goes second Rift. 2 free Torments there on the start of that one. I am at a 10 stack here with wheel and woe. Drop the shield. They're wrong. Grabbed and execute. Okay, sent my Rift and watch for the early collapse. There it was.
Long ago, members of the Blue Dragon Fleet accidentally overloaded an arcane.
So this boss, since my last video, there was a change on the developer side. There are no more magic dispels. They're just little dots when you eat the orbs. Kind of like it. Let's see, we have PI up, PI down. Yeah, these used to be dispels, not anymore. Missed my dot on that one. Always better to have a dot active when you go into your Mind Blast. And watching for the fissure, this is a big one. Really good spot for evangelism. Let's see what I do here. Yeah. And a little risky there. Really wanted to get that rift out. Yeah, so I think it also goes without saying, but maybe you who's watching doesn't know Voidweaver that well. You get a free pet from Evangelism. That is a moment when you want to work Death into your rotation. Fade. Yeah, if the Rift is out standard, I kind of drop Death unless there's an Execute. If I'm in the Rift with Evangelism, I work in Death because now Torments are coming into play with the free pet. Okay, paints up our DK just because he's our big hitter here. And a very well timed Rift. 1, 2, 3. So I think the biggest thing that you have to think about playing Voidweaver is making sure you get your 3 Void Blasts for the extension. Okay, that was both of my defensives, Desperate Prayer and Fade. I almost had a 10 stack Wheel and Woe. I think after this penance, I dropped the shield. I'm not dropping. Okay, so that's a small miss perhaps. Okay, there it was. And good timing though for the fissure. So I am looking forward to... Blizzard did announce that they're going to let us color our boss timers. So instead of all of these being red, I think what my idea is, I'll have them all be black except the major ones that pertain to our heal timing. So like on that boss, I think they'll all be black except for the fissure will be red or blue or something. Maybe the minor heal mechanics like the bombs might be a darker blue. But my thought is I kind of want spells to disappear from sight unless they have to do with timing my heals. Okay, let's see how I play my torments here. I think what I do... Okay, melded that one off. Okay, yeah, I wised up here. I switched my target to the little one for the rift. And then I switched back to the big one for my main attack. But it wasn't a problem here. The big guy wasn't jumping out. We do have executes in field. We see him as white. Desperate Prayer and Fade because I was selected. And I'm holding back on my rift here because we have a bigger pull coming up. We do have Evangelism. I think Evangelism needs a small rework. because you want to play it on open, but you get 150% effectiveness when no one needs healing. I do have PI too. I think I just got PI. You're going to have to check me on that one. I think it came up after the poll started, and I'm opting to hold for the next. And that was a good play too. Always a good idea to try and penance a mob that's dying to push their dot back into the field. Execute. That was a good example. I switched my target to the group of 3 rather than the single mob for the torments. Those are small details you have to think about when playing torment. It's a 5 target cleave. You don't want your torments hitting one mob. Okay, so as long as I wasn't holding PI that entire pull, I'm happy. And these next plays, I'm not too sure the mechanic, but there's group-wide damage. I think it's just a cast timer. Too bad we can't watch those anymore. Okay, here's PI, here goes the Rift. So let's see if we can spot the attack that blows up the group. Okay, so you see Arcane Bolts, Arcane Smash, it's probably a Tank Buster, and that was it. So the Arcane Smash is group-wide. Just got Evangelism 2. Here comes an Execute. Another Rift. I might not get full duration. Watch for the Collapse. Collapse. So yeah, if you're going to play Voidweaver, you have to get used to that extra keybind to collapse your Void on your command. Okay, we have Evangelism. So that was an Evangelism off myself to make sure I got anyone in the room and anyone outside of the room. I was in a better vantage point than the tank. Okay, this was a barrier where I was guessing. Didn't really help anyone. Switch my targets for a better dot spread. Execute for a free pet. Last Rift. Let's see if I cancel it early. That's probably the play. Cancel early and death. Yep. So in a spot like that, we didn't want to lose the damage. We didn't want to lose the HPS either.
These are sacred halls of learning. Only those registered may access them. Learn from this.
Okay, Evangelism is out. Let's see how aggressive I can play here.
For poor students.
Must have Torment there. Good thing I didn't die.
You will not pass the semester.
Okay, getting as many Void Blasts as I can.
Think about what you have.
I cannot find this druid. Give myself a personal and give myself a quick dispel. Okay. Fumble there a little bit with my Rift. Oh, this was a bad Rift. Anyone excited for the Olympics? Okay, let's see. Evangelism is 9 seconds away. Let's see how quickly I play it. Evangelism is up. Rift is up. Fresh dot. Free torments. PI in 10. Let's see how well I play that. Void shield on myself. And dispel. Okay, PI's out. Okay, death leading into my Mind Blast. So I got 2 free pets and then 2 torments on this. Like, I think that's 5 torments total. The reason I say 5 is those free ones pop up sequentially. Those extra Shadow Word deaths, I believe, also proc torments. Okay, Rift is out. And I think that was the only Rift of the key where my collapse missed, but I was kind of losing sight. But yeah, this was not for IO. I'm playing 16s and 17s now, so this is a little bit below my range, but I saw a key up with a good tank and just queued in to make a new video talking about the execute range on nameplates with Platinator and talking about talents since Oracle had nerfs and Voidweaver had buffs. But I think Voidweaver is pretty fun. I'm not too sure how it's going to fare in hierarchies like 18s and 19s. I'm not opposed to switching, but for now I am playing Voidweaver and having a lot of fun doing it. A couple other things to think about. I turn off combat text, floating combat text. There's a new command for that if anyone's looking for it. I don't have any damage text or healing text. It opens up your screen quite a bit. And I started using an add-on again I used to use called Leonatrix. Hold on, let me get it. I actually have WoW up. Let's see. It's called Leonatrix Plus. It's really great for small little features. It can turn off error text on screen, so the things that say like out of range or you cannot cast that yet pops up as a little red text that gets in the way of nameplates. And that is one rule of mine: is you want nothing that interferes with seeing your nameplates. So yeah, if anyone has questions, let me know. Stay tuned for some updates on my Metafy. And until next time, Disc out.